everyone? Welcome back to the Progressive Gentlemen podcast. As always, we're your hosts. I'm Dan.
I'm Matt.
And thanks for taking the time to nerd out about music with us. This episode is sponsored by Eargasm Earplugs. Go to eargasm.com. Use code Gentlemen10 at checkout for a discount today. We are joined by some of the gents in Aviations today. Thank you guys so much for jumping onto the podcast with us. We really appreciate it. And
oh, nice. Good
representing
choice.
the brand.
Yeah, I think I have some too.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We appreciate the support. And I mean, we've been using them for probably about 6-7 years now. And it's pretty nice to go to a show and not have your ears ringing when you leave. That's it's very nice. And
I will say the one band that they can't handle is Meshuggah. I did need a little more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you need the
but that's fair.
You need the over ear ones for that. Yeah, Meshuggah
you need like the airplane crew.
Oh yeah. If you guys wouldn't mind, if you could just sort of introduce yourselves, what role you play in the band, that would be fantastic.
All right, Sam, go.
My name is Sam. I play guitar and produce.
Jared.
Okay, that's okay. My name is Richard. I play piano and mail stuff at the post office.
That's an important role.
Shit, what's my secondary role? If you probably got
I was waiting.
What's up? I'm James. I play drums. Yeah, I just play drums, dude. I don't need anything else.
I play drums.
You
and
play
I play
more
drums.
than one drum, so there you go.
That's
right.
true.
I play drums and cymbals. Is what you should. If you need two roles.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh man. Well, thank you guys for doing that. We appreciate it. We like to start these interviews usually asking a band about their origin story, sort of where they started and how they got to where they are today. A lot of times, podcasts and stuff like that focus on the music specifically, but we like to get to the people behind the music. So if you guys wouldn't mind, we'd love to hear sort of how you came, to where you are today, where you started from.
Yeah, Richard, how did that happen?
Well, back in 1992. I don't know. My origin story is different from y'all, so you start.
Yeah,
this is a good collection of folks because James and I basically met at Berkeley and started this out of a lot of ideas that James had, and I had time. And as students at Berkeley, when you have a little bit of time amidst a hectic schedule to write and make some music, then bands happen. So that's the very short version. But a number of years later, James and Richard met online through mutual music love of, I think, Tigran Hamasyan.
Yeah, we
was
posted
mostly
the same Tigran
the
video
one
on the internet. So we were like, I think my video it was Entertain Me, right?
I think probably mine was first.
No. Yeah, whoever was first. But I just remember, if you were watching Shurd's video, mine would be in the related, and if you were watching mine, his would be in the related. So it was just one of those things. I can't remember how. I think I had to find you on Facebook or something. I can't remember how the reaction, the interaction happened after that. But I just remember
classic YouTube meet cute.
Those were the days.
Yeah, right.
Remember when YouTube was a nice aggregate? Everything just went there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. Very organic reach. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the speedrun version of the origin. Other members that are not here are also Berkeley folks, aside from Werner, who is also a bassist in Monuments and is very busy doing Monuments related things at the moment, but was also on our latest record and is awesome. But yeah, so lots of Berkeley boys, and then Richard and Werner is essentially the combination.
Yeah. But everyone went to music school. They just weren't. We didn't meet. It's funny because I think we still met Werner at Berkeley because we were still living in Boston and stuff. And then Churd came to Berkeley when we were still going to Berkeley to do music related things. I can't remember if we were still in school, but I remember we were using Berkeley studios and stuff when Richard came up. But
yeah, because it was that October when we did Sam's.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. So it's the final last year, the last 2 semesters or whatever.
Yeah, final project of mine as a music production student at Berkeley was to
that's right.
record an EP, and so I chose my friends instead of other people.
Makes sense. Very cool. We appreciate that, and we've heard your style of music referred to as like cozy metal, and we were curious: was that a title that was sort of self-imposed, or was that imposed upon you on the fans? And how would you describe cozy metal?
Take it away, Cherd.
That was the best decision I ever made. Yeah, it was self-imposed, and I think just because we were talking about when the Light Years was coming out, we were trying to describe like, hey, like yes, we want to have some aggression because we still are a bit of a metal band, but like just trying to highlight the fact that we try and tackle like more complex emotions, the sort of like happy, sad sensation or nostalgia or anything like that, just like where it's just a little more like intimate and then cozy. And so I think like as a joke, when I posted it on some progressive metal subreddit or something, I was like, oh, for fans of cozy metal. People are like, what the hell is cozy metal? That's not a thing. Like,
I love that term. So, I love that term.
If Phineas can coin mustache metal, if they can have the mustache metal, you guys can have cozy metal.
Thank you.
And like when I hear the term cozy metal, it kind of makes me think of like a record like Altered State by Tesseract, and I get shades of them in your style a bit here and there. So basically where I'm going with this is, what bands or artists would you guys credit sort of as your inspiration for your writing style and how you approach music?
I think the 2010s core stuff is a big part of the sound. When we were at Berkeley and all the hype around Periphery, Animals as Leaders, and Tesseract, and obviously us being a pluralization name band, all of those types of artists come to mind, and that's you can find that kind of style all over our first album, which released in 2012, right in the midst of it. But I think we're a cool intersection, especially with James as like a primary composer songwriter person, which I don't think is the most common thing in this style of music. It's a lot of bedroom guitar player focused music, I would say, but James and his sensibilities, which you can talk to a bit more about, but has just another layer of that like nostalgia core, I think, is another adage to cozy metal that I think we've been using. So that's been fun to pull from. And then I pull a lot of influence from like Dream Theater, and then also like the pop music side of things like Death Cab, and even you mentioned like the Paramours and Billie Eilish's earlier when we were chatting, and that kind of stuff, and even just a lot of like post rock and ambient stuff. Like try to bring all of that soundscapiness and pop sensibility into metal. It's a cool collaboration or combination, I guess.
Very cool. Yeah, I mean, listening to some of your music, you do get sort of that Periphery vibe pretty heavy, especially in your early records. And but when you can listen to a song and get Periphery, but then get like Coheed and Cambria a little bit from time to time, and then like it jumps into something that reminds you of like maybe like a Deer Hunter type band, and then back into like a Tesseract-y Periphery type progressive metal thing. Like it's cool to see sort of how, diverse your music is, especially within one song, but also throughout the album. I mean, even bands like Issues like pop up from time to time in some of the songs that you listen to. So
yeah, I was just gonna say, it's like even within one song, not just like looking at an album as a whole, like the kind of jumps between genres and like tidbits that you see, it makes it very cozy.
I'm actually embarrassed that I talked about all these bands and didn't just list off Deer Hunter, Contortionist, and Coheed as like my favorite bands, to be honest.
There's a lot of Contortionist and Coheed and stuff on this wall too, so big fan of all those bands. But jumping into your discography a little bit, your debut album Declaration of Sound is very well titled, because I feel like it really establishes the sound that you sort of relatively maintain throughout your discography. But that debut record is one of the most polished debut records I think I've ever heard from any band. And I don't know, another debut record that comes to mind would be a band like Native Construct, Quiet World, which ends up being the only record that they dropped. But and they're another Boston band with Berkeley roots. So I guess this is a two-part question.
Well, and Sam's brother played bass in that band, and I toured with that band.
Well, shit. So
and they were our neighbors. They were literally, I was 238. And no, sorry, I was 638, and Miles and Gabe were 637. So I was hearing.
We got there.
Yeah, dude.
James just saying numbers.
I'm just yeah.
Five.
I would hear the.
Yeah, we heard
like,
chromatic aberration through
my
the walls.
wall, like for like months at a time.
Well, I guess that answers my first part of the question, which was how familiar are you guys with Native Construct?
Yeah,
So
they
very.
yeah we played more than one show together, I think, right?
Yeah, I was
James,
talking to my brother about the
didn't you-
2015 one.
You played for them on tour, yeah?
Yeah, we did the Hour in the Sunlight Wings Denied Native tour with them. And then yeah, that was it was fun.
That's one band I wish didn't sail off into the sunset. That record is so good.
You know
But
what mine? What is this? Is okay. You said tangents. Feel free to cut this out.
Bring
Means
it.
End. Means End. I wish we got
Yeah,
a second
dude.
album from them. Holy cow!
Dude,
You want to talk
yeah.
college debuts? That one album was so good. Bass tone was amazing. Robert Luciano, great vocalist. Wish he was still doing more. Ah, that was the band.
Yeah,
Slaps.
there's that one. Is it Sun
Solid.
Wukong?
Yeah.
They do that song. Oh, that song slaps so fucking hard. I'm gonna have to listen to that like as soon as we're done, because that middle part, dude, is like the stupid, like all the like the jazz chord breakdown thing, bro. Get out of town.
And
I'd
everyone
throw-
pretends to forget Karelia, but you know.
Karelia, I was gonna say I'd throw out
yeah.
Karelia, and I'd also throw out Human Abstract.
Hmm.
Both bands that I wish were still making music.
Dude,
Those are all good ones.
I didn't realize that Jamie King. You're talking about Nocturne, right?
Oh, dude, that album's so good. So
That's their
before
first
its
one,
time.
though. Right? That's
Yeah,
their first one, right?
record.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's
yep.
my favorite
really?
one. Yeah.
Nocturne's their first.
Shit.
Then they did Midhaven, Midhaven, which most people forget exists, and then Digital Veil, which is
Yeah.
really good.
I did a record with Jamie King last
Dude's
summer.
a genius.
And I didn't realize that he did Nocturne. And he was telling me, like, he's like, yeah, track the drums like 2 bars at a time. And the vocalist didn't come in with any of the vocal parts written before. And I was like, how? It sounds so good. How do you just like do that? It was sick.
I feel like he gets that a lot, and he's just so nice. He's just like, all right, we're doing it, and
Yeah, dude.
puts it together and
He's
just
such a
makes it
fucking
amazing.
vibe, dude. Such a vibe.
Nicest human.
Yeah, he's pretty incredible. Pretty much everything that dude touches is gold. So, have you guys ever listened to a band called Others by No One by chance?
Yeah, we've played shows with
We
them
tour
too.
with them too. Yeah.
Very cool.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's another band that I'm a big fan of. I think that some of the stuff that they do. But I wonder. Okay, so the second part of my original question, and I think this ties into everything that we got going on here, is how much do you credit sort of your music education, your Berklee experience with sort of your writing style, and just in general where you are today with music? Because it seems like a lot of bands with that same background are very sort of polished and have a lot, not like exact similarities, but and also, do you guys have a theater background at all, or band or anything like that? Because I feel like that's a lot of like another common thing with like
All my friends were in band.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, I guess to tie into your initial question, I would say like 100%. Like, going to Berklee is like kind of just the seed of this entire thing. Just not even just based on the education. That's my alarm. Sorry.
you're good.
I would say just based on like us, like going there, like regardless of the education part entirely.
Yeah, the experience.
Just like meeting the networking aspect alone, is, paramount there. Because we like, you mentioned Native, you mentioned Others by No One, you mentioned all these bands, like all those things don't exist, at least for me, without going there. Just because of how that net works, where it's just like, oh, I know this guy, so they know that guy, and then we do this, and then it sprawls out so fast when you're there. And it's like, I mean, at least for me, like, I guess like for all of us who went to Berklee, it's like I still work with people from Berklee like every week. Like, it's a network that never really goes away. And it's like, connections for life. And then, you put the education part on top of it, right? Where it's like, we're learning like all the, contemporary theory, and then you're playing with people that are, you know, the best from their town, and you know, and so you're just constantly just like, you know, it's like double XP weekend for 4 years straight. Like that's basically what it is, you know? So, and I think that definitely has a massive impact because you know, like you mentioned influences earlier, you know, other than like obviously the big metal ones that we talked about, all the other ones were bands that were also at Berkeley. Because everyone at Berkeley that was a band was doing stuff that was like super sick, but not what we were doing, and we could still like pull from that and get influenced and motivated from the stuff that those bands were doing. And I think that that was more motivating for me than bands I was just listening to. It's like every weekend there was a house party somewhere that like 4 Berkeley band, like it's a world class show happening in a fucking unfinished basement where we are probably all gonna get like, you know, lung cancer or whatever because they're just disgusting basements, and it's just like bands just like shredding their ass off. So it was just like a lot of that. But I think that, you know, the music school stuff kind of has everything to do with it, just because of the network part of it.
There seems to be something about like networking in like musicianship where it's like a way more like tight-knit networking than like you would say like a, you know, professional, like business professional kind of like job fair type stuff. I don't know, there's like some level of like camaraderie. Like my dad's friend from work, he plays bass in a band, and like every time we go to like see him play, he's always like, "Oh yeah, this band." Like I'll talk about a band that I like, and he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'm like played with their bassist or something." And it's like, how? They're not even from this state. Like, how would you have encountered that? And it's like, it seems like that kind of thread of musicianship kind of ties everyone so closely together.
Yeah,
And we've
It's a small world thing too.
Yeah.
You know, like especially once you're in a certain genre or whatever, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of bands, but
Yeah,
it's finite.
that's true. Yeah, that is true.
I just have to say, like, in the context of this conversation, how much I hate the word networking and just like the connotation, because like everything James was talking about is like we liked all those guys because they were our friends and we were doing stuff. We're all in the same boat and had that level of camaraderie because of Berkeley. And I think a lot of bands have, well, nowadays, which is just kind of a weird transition to think about, like everything James said is super valid for the time. And now it's like, I feel like every single like Instagram guitarist like knows each other, or like vice versa. Bands in this similar genre will have like a similar type of like, oh, and now, well, actually now they're all probably meeting up at NAMM while we're here. But yeah, the networking aspect was more just because we were friends of everybody that was there. So like we'll have those experiences for life because of our proximity to that. Like everyone is, you know, excited to go out and see like a Slipknot show or a Sleep Token, but they're never going to see Dent in the basement of
I forgot about that.
Gardner Street or something. Yeah. So like, yeah, just so much cool stuff was happening there. And it was like right before, like, cause it's like, you know, 2011 to 15 time. So it was like right before like Instagram was way more of like a homepage and TikTok and all that stuff for like, especially like musicians in our scene, you know, like the guitar player bands, just posting online all the time for likes and views and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
digress.
We really appreciate it. That honestly makes me wish that I had that type of experience because that sounds incredible. Would you say that in progressive music the camaraderie is different, that because you hear a lot of mixed stuff about like the music industry in general, right, and how it's like very cutthroat and whatever, but it seems like a lot of times you know, when you're talking to progressive bands or progressive metal bands, progressive rock bands, it's like it seems like a lot more of a brotherhood in progressive music than maybe other genres. Is that something that maybe you guys have experienced in your time as, you know, a progressive metal, progressive rock, however you guys want to be categorized, band? Or is that, am I just sort of pulling from thin air there?
Well, my 2 cents just sort of from what feels like the peanut gallery, because my, you know, the end of my point before is kind of like my experience with musicians nowadays is like almost entirely online because I don't get to play out very much. I'm not a person who is touring in other bands for like a livelihood or whatnot. And my band definitely, we take our time and are trying to work our way into, you know, bigger opportunities. But again, so much of it is online. So yeah, as far like, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of like comparing different genres and saying, oh, one's like more cutthroat or whatever you want to refer it to as than the other. But like, we're all just music nerds trying to make it happen. And I think if anyone has a bad opinion, it's probably just because they're in a bad place or they had a bad experience and probably didn't handle a situation the best and got the appropriate response as a result. You know, like I kind of demonized the word networking earlier, and if you go into like trying to, I don't know, get on a tour or get some like free labor out of like somebody, hey, like do a guest solo on my whatever, and then like maybe that communication doesn't go over well, then you might, you know, I don't want to say make enemies, but just, you know, that might not go very well. So I feel like that's the only place where, and just aside from being behind a keyboard versus being in person, it's a bit easier to misconstrue things and have toxicity run kind of rampant. So these are all kind of secondhand things I notice in the general cloud of like musicianship online, but I wouldn't say like any genre that I've seen versus another genre is any more like rude or competitive. I'd say it's all like competitive and good fun, and that kind of, you know, we want to see each other's groups grow. Like I think a band like Sleep Token, regardless of if you had an opinion on their specific genre or not beforehand, it's like amazing to see something like that explode in the way it did, and we would want that for any band that is in like our direct proximity, you know, Berkeley or otherwise.
Yeah, no, and it has been really cool. I think a lot of too, like, I mean, Sleep Token has brought sort of, and bands like Spirit Box and other bands that have sort of blown up, has brought sort of metal, progressive rock, progressive music into like the limelight a bit. They're played a lot more on, you know, Sirius XM radio and things like that, like on these channels that are usually playing bands like Five Finger Death Punch and things like that. So it's kind of been cool to see bands like that get propped up, and I think that sort of has built a ladder for bands like you and others in the genre to sort of, you know, climb that ladder back up or up into sort of that same relevance. And speaking of like building ladders and things like that, are there any bands that have sort of extended an olive branch to you and helped you out as you've sort of progressed through your journey as a band?
I mean, I wouldn't say like bands in like, you know, like full
Or artists, or yeah.
Yeah, I mean like I guess just because of all the other stuff that we do, you know, like we are kind of always constantly asking for advice from people. So I think, you know, like when we worked with Lassard, like, you know, I feel like we're, you know, just with working with him, like we're, you know, he's happy to ask and answer any questions we have and stuff like that. And then, you know, like when I've toured with like other bands, like I'm never really like the guy who's like, yeah, check out my other band when I'm working with another band. But if it comes up and it's something where it's like, oh, your other band's really cool, if you ever like needs, you know, like stuff like that, like that's happened. You know, but in terms of like the like music side of things, I don't think we ever really ask for any outside opinion, because I think we like, as long as it clears like us six, I think we're happy with it. But you know, anyone we've worked with in any other band is always like really supportive of what we're doing. And you know, like again, like anytime something comes up that they think we're cool for, they'll you know, they'll reach out to us for it. So
Very cool. And jumping into your discography a little bit more and talking about Luminaria a little bit, the record that you guys just dropped in 2023.
So good.
Yeah, we personally think it's an absolute masterpiece. It cracked our top 5 records of 2023. And there was a lot of good music in 2023. So I guess the question is, you know, you guys started out Declaration of Sound, a lot of that like periphery influence, and I feel like just to keep on with that cozy metal sort of phraseology, or if that's even a freaking word.
It is now, bud.
We're coining it, just like cozy metal. We're coining phraseology. Anyways,
Hashtag phraseology.
I feel like your music has gotten cozier as you've progressed through your discography. How has your approach to writing changed, if at all, between the first record and this new record? And is this sort of this is what we wanted to write kind of thing? Did you have sort of a designated trend? We wanted to do this, that, or the other thing. Did you see Sleep Token doing one thing and say you wanted to do that? You know what I mean? Just basically, how have you gotten from one record to the other, and how has your process changed, if at all?
I mean,
I'll let James talk a little bit, but I'll just underpin this by saying, for example, technically the first track, Cradle, the one that the intro leads into, was a demo that I heard James working on when we were living together in the other room at Berkeley in like 2015. So
that's awesome.
That was demoed. Wasn't that demoed like, or no, I'm thinking of Dizziness was demoed like a week after ADOS came out, right? Is that, do I have those confused now? Okay.
No, that's correct. I would
Okay,
the only
right.
reason I was throwing that out there is to like dispel any like, oh, we heard X band doing this in
we take
January of 2023. We take our time.
Yeah, we take way too long to like do any like trend, like chasing kind of stuff.
You'll see our Sleep Token cover in 27.
Yeah,
it'll be fire.
Yeah, but I think generally the writing process has always kind of started with either myself or Sam on Guitar Pro, just kind of doodling stuff, and once it kind of reaches a phase of like it's a full song in some semblance of an arrangement, we'll take it to real instruments and start demoing stuff out. I don't think that process has really changed. I think we've just gotten a little bit more particular and then kind of more clever about it. Especially too, since we're like getting older and we have more resources. Like, I will never demo any of our stuff with fake drums because I run a studio for my job. So I'll just record it there and then we'll do that. And Richard's got a full piano setup at his house, so like we can get our demos to sound pretty close to like what we're envisioning for a final product. And then I also think the vocal writing process has gotten even easier over the years. I would say Sam and Adam have kind of created a pretty good rapport. I would say that the one, I guess, advancement or level up since like the start of the band is mostly just like, at least in my opinion, is like adding Richard. Just because like the piano, like anytime you look at something for the band and it's like, oh, the piano's sick, I wouldn't hear that in a band. And it's like, not only is that true, but it's also like, who else is going to want to, well, one, like no one else can play the parts that he plays just from a technical standpoint. And then also too, you have to find like, where else is there going to be like a piano nerd who wants to be
deal with our bullshit
in a metal band? You know what I mean? So it's like Richard's a one of one in terms of like really cares about like the minutia of like the amount of studios I had to call to find like the specific piano Churd wanted to record the record on was hilarious. But it's like
it's probably like 4 whole studios.
It was like 10.
Oh god. No, I'm just giving shit.
But like I'm down with that, because it's like you're not gonna, any other band is just gonna use like, some fucking MIDI library and like, yeah, the part will come across, but I think like just having the extra human with like the intent being there, I think really adds a lot more than just like some warm body to play the part. So I think, and then also too, just having him here as another person who plays music, who has ideas that are sick, we would really benefit from that.
Yeah, Luminaria especially.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. And honestly, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just saying, just to deflect from me a little bit, I think just like the general idea of things that have changed from album to album is that there's more people involved now because we have 6 of us, and like for Luminaria, we all got together at my house when I was living in Tennessee at the time, and like we got to be in a room together for a week. Once a lot of the original like sort of guitar pros were in some state where it's like, hey, let's all get together in a room and fight about this and eat food, like, and that was 5 years ago that we did that. We did that before COVID.
I remember a
but
fight that
still,
turned into my favorite section.
yeah, it's just like, so that sort of stuff where that's what's changed is that, yes, we have more warm bodies to play live instruments, whether it's me or having Werner as a permanent bassist and all that, but also then those people can start infiltrating the actual writing at some point, so Werner's got cool bass lines that he was like, hi guys, I want to have cool bass. I can't do it like that.
So close.
The hey guys wasn't bad, and then it just tanked after that. But yeah, so it's like, he gets his input, and it's like, oh, he's putting his thumbprint on it a little bit, and I, my thing is, hey, what if we had more chords, and how much can I force that into a song? So
and we say cool. Yes 80% of the time.
It's cool too, like with having 6 people, like that could get like too many opinions, like too many cooks spoil the broth kind of thing. But like for you guys, that's not the case. Like it works fantastically. Case in point of the new album.
Notice that it takes 10 years.
It's not the case. At least in the final product, it's not the case.
Yeah.
I think we do a pretty good job, or at least I think now, kind of like having stepped away from it, and then just based on how things have been working post the record, I think we kind of have a good kind of funnel figured out where it's just like I'm generally the guy, like the idea starter guy, and Sam is generally the idea finisher guy. And then so like if it's like a funnel, I guess like I'm the kind of the start of that funnel, and then I'll like pass things around to everyone except Sam. And then once I think like everyone else has gotten like their thing on it, and then I'll send it to Sam, and Sam will be like, this is fucking terrible, why'd you waste my time? And then he'll just redo the whole thing, and then it'll be great. So that's
yeah, I'm just the Gordon Ramsay of the group, sorry.
Yeah, it's very mean.
Yeah. Sam's just over here with his hex-clad pots and pans, just beating the shit out of us all the time.
How do you burn the bloody broth? That was close.
It's fucking raw.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
To bring the focus back to the piano too, I do think honestly that addition to sort of everything else that's going on, the blend of different styles and the genre sort of differentiation just across the board, everything is just, it makes everything sort of sound refreshing and new in sort of a progressive metalcore world that's becoming sort of very like the same. Like a lot of bands sound the same these days. I feel like you guys really set yourselves apart with your sound and remain super accessible because of that. It's interesting to see a band be so complex yet so accessible. And I mean that's sort of the recipe, in my opinion, for a band that sort of springs into sort of the mainstream, like a Sleep Token or a Spirit Box that did. So like I genuinely feel like there's big things in the future for you guys, because I mean the music you guys write is incredible. So definitely
thanks,
looking forward to that. But
well, thank you.
On top of all of that, so we just recently interviewed a band called Crypto Deer. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar.
Yeah, I actually I didn't realize it until after. Oh, dude, that band's so sick. I didn't realize it until after the show, but I was standing next to Mike at the last Death Heaven show.
Mike is so cool, dude. I love Mike.
Queens.
Yeah, they're awesome. We hung out with them a couple times. They came through Pittsburgh not too long ago, and we got to sit down and hang out with them a little bit, and then we got them to jump on the podcast here recently.
Yeah.
But one of the things we talked about with them was the fact that a lot of times, especially in progressive music, really good album artwork is like a tell that the music is going to be incredible. And that's one thing that that's actually how we discovered you guys, to be honest. Scrolling through,
hell yeah,
we saw the retrospect cover, and we were like, this is going to be fucking incredible. And it was, and then we listened to it through your discography and instantly became fans. But
did you see the clock?
I did see the clock.
Did you notice? Yeah. It looked really hard.
For a second, I was like, is there a hidden clock that you're referring to, or are you
Is
just
there
talking about
another
the one right
clock?
in the
Yeah.
middle?
We've really
No
we've really
comment.
stepped up our game from
Oh,
the
shit.
flaccid plane that's on the front of the first one. You know, we've really upgraded since then.
Shh, secret.
And
That was
the
funny, Sam. That was good.
the Luminaria, that cover is also incredible. So is the artist the same? How did that come about? And do you agree? Like, does that seem like are we onto something there with the guys in Crypto Dira?
I'll just say, like, I won't confirm or deny. I think art is subjective in all forms, blah blah blah, you know, just save myself there. Table set. All right. So but from our experience, I've actually had folks message us directly saying, like, even the Light Years album cover was like something that drew them in. One father and his he said, my son and I listen, so I'm assuming he's younger and not like our age.
It's hard to have a
was
son
like,
that's older than you.
yeah, it's true. It's almost impossible, but
It's interesting. Just to tangent real quick, Mike actually said that I think it was his dad that, like, was his dad, like, always had like a larger music budget, would always go through and he would buy records just based on the album artwork, and that his dad introduced him to a lot of like metal bands. So it could have been an older guy. You don't
Huh?
you never
that's
know.
well, that's how it used to be, right? With actual records going to the store, you see a cool cover, that's like the way to be it. That was the other version of like the loudness wars, where now if it's streaming and it comes on rotation, you want it to be louder. But anyway, just saying, that cover got us some plays. And Luminaria, for example, for me, I actually noticed the cover before anybody else, to backtrack, which is just a bizarre way to frame it, because that house that we filmed our first two single music videos in is the house that's on the cover. And I found that house by searching on Airbnb for houses to, you know, shoot in, but also filtering them for houses that had baby grand pianos in them so that we could get Richard set up.
That's sweet.
And that happened to be in New York, so great proximity to us. And just like that cover was the exact angle that you would see it on the listing, and it was just like this old Victorian, I believe is the right style, and it just like was a vibe immediately. So when it came to talking about album covers, we had all these different concepts to try and keep the cozy vibe. Like you said, like, we care so much about the music, we want the artwork to speak as loudly, I guess. And in the end, it was like, well, what should we put on the cover? It was like, oh, just the house, of course. It's where we stayed, it's got the whole vibe. So yeah, that's kind of the quote unquote backstory, I guess, behind it. But yeah, we're very happy with how the art came out. I'm gonna butcher his name, but his last name, but Florian, will put his handle in the show notes, or if that's even possible.
Yeah, it's definitely possible.
Super cool guy.
Fantastic. Yeah, the artwork is incredible, so definitely shout him out. And so moving on, and we're just gonna, this is a question that we've been asking bands that we've been interviewing the last, you know, couple months here, because it's the end of the year / beginning of 2024. And we gave you a little bit of a warning here, so we're bringing it up now. Is there a particular album in 2023? I guess you could say your own, but I feel like that'd be cheating, and that's kind of a cop out. So
Yeah.
I would say you know, maybe try not to do that. But what was your album of the year in 2023?
Who's going
We're all
first?
just like
Who's
waiting.
going
Radio
first?
Not all at
silence.
once.
They all suck.
James first with the hot takes.
I don't have hot. What do you think I have these hot takes for, man? God, I just gotta make sure I got the name right. Oh yeah, okay. This band Tiger Cub put out a record called "The Perfume of Decay." I don't know if anyone's listened to this band. They're it's just like one of the coolest things about living in New York City. Was like they on Tidal, they do the new release thing, and they were in like my similar artists or something, and I listened to it, and it's like they're definitely like hip to the metal thing, because their pre-show music was Meshuggah, and they're not like, they're like a pop grunge kind of thing, but they're definitely like hip.
Cool.
They're like hip to it, but they're a bunch of norm, like, so I pulled up the band and was like, "Oh, this is sick," and then realized that they're playing in New York like 3 days after. So I was just like, "All right, we're just gonna." Like my fiance and I just went, and because I had no idea, I was just like, I don't know where they're from, I don't know what they look like, I don't know anything. And then we went to the show, and it was like a bunch of normal people. It was really weird, but they play like the dude plays like a baritone, like drop B guitar, like the shit's heavy, but the songs are really good. So yeah, that's I don't know, the songwriting is just sick, and the riffs are pretty tight, and the dude's voice is really killer.
The cool thing about this, the cool thing about when we ask bands this is we almost always end up discovering a new band from this.
Yeah.
Like from we interviewed Caligula's Horse and discovered a band called Exploring Birdsong, which was pretty sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of figured probably somebody here would know them. They're incredible.
They got a pianist.
I was gonna say that's another band with pretty impressive piano there. And then yeah, I mean, I feel like every episode we do when we ask this question, we end up discovering something new. So that's gonna be one to definitely check out. But yeah, Sam, whoever anyone want to go next?
Sure. Yeah, again, I was looking through because as a band who makes music with our head in the sand, working on our own stuff, it's tough to keep up with everything, and so much cool stuff came out. But here, I'll throw one out that might just be different from the list, because I did like that Paramore record a lot. I just think the vibe of it is really, really cool with the direction they're going since like After Laughter and all that stuff. But Enter Shikari did put out an album this year. Was it Kiss for the Whole World? Yeah, just that pop element with all the grunginess and like hyper rock EDM stuff. Yeah, it's really just a fun, super fun band, and they're like something I aspire to be live, even though I could never jump around as much while playing our technical music. So yeah, like that one was up there.
To see you guys playing on the technical level, but then also like having that crazy like sprinting around
just like
stage.
British jumping bean, whatever.
Bring it back to like early 2000s, start spinning the guitar around and shit, you know.
Well, we just got to give Richard like a 1-octave synth that he can just run around with and play the leads too.
Guitar. I'm not.
Yes.
No, just a baby synth, not a guitar. He's literally holding it.
Yeah. Bring back the crab core. That was always like my favorite Attack video. Is the one where he's got the tiny little synth. He has like a microchord or something, and he's just like doing the deepest. It just looks so silly, like tiny piano, big dude. Like I don't know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're all getting in our 30s. It'll be a crabby core or something. I don't know.
Cranky core.
Cranky core. There we go.
Don't
you got there.
Diddy core.
All right, Trey, what do you got?
Let's hear it.
Okay, if you had asked me December 15th what my album of the year was, I wouldn't have answered what I'm about to say. But then really late contender. Because I think like we did a stream for Aviations where we talked about like, oh, you know, here was our songs of the year, you know, where James, Sam, and I share this. And I hadn't found this album yet. So Press to Enter.
I knew it. Yes.
Yes. Sam knows that I've been obsessed with this. They're a Danish.
That's it.
Prog metal band. This is their
Danish.
Yeah.
A delicious dessert.
All right, cut out part of that silence so that this becomes a better sentence without the pause. Sorry, Sam.
We don't have those technical abilities, so it's remaining.
The album is called From Mirror to Road, and if you want to talk like super polished debuts with complexity, but accessibility, they've got it in spades. That's my story. Like the song Frozen Red Light is the song that I wish the Aviations would make, because they have an awesome key change for the final chorus. Like they're bringing it back, and they wouldn't let me do that on Luminaria for any songs. It's great band.
What would it have been, just out of curiosity, on December 15th?
Probably like the Carmen Jaka Skills EP.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's an EP and not an album. Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
Yep, not a real band.
Not a real band.
That's not real music.
Not enough music. I don't know what else did I have on my list of that top 5 back then. Maybe like the Ovet LP.
I probably can pull it up, dude. I got your playlist.
No,
right
I
here,
just
dude.
checked it out. I mean,
Well, while he's pulling it up,
yeah,
the Press to Enter stuff was mixed by Adam Bentley as well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joey Izzo is on a song too and all that. So it's but
Very
you gotta
cool.
check it out. It's so good.
Oh, definitely checking it out. Yeah, that
I will
did
sing their
not hit my
praises.
radar.
Who mixed a lot of Luminaria? That's why I brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Nice.
sweet.
And just
Yeah.
everything else.
Now we got some post episode homework.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, homework's due next week.
And then feel free to message me and be like, dude, you were so right.
Oh,
You're like,
I'm gonna get them famous.
Sick.
I honestly did that.
He's asking if you
exact thing.
validate.
I did that exact thing to Jim Gray from Caligula's Horse because he's the one that
With
introduced
Exploring
us to
Birdsong stuff?
Exploring Birdsong, and I've had that EP on repeat since.
Is it still
that-
on your vinyl stand? Is that?
Oh no, I was
Hard to tell.
listening to Great Misdirect.
Oh, okay.
Great
Because you have
record.
taste.
Absolutely.
You
I'm
two
a
are men of culture.
I'm a
You
man of
too.
culture.
Ah, yes. We meet again.
Oh,
So this is where you tell every other podcast guest now that this random band of what's it Aviations, I think they're pretty
man.
solid.
Again. They're all right.
It's
They're all
Fly
right.
Plane Fly.
Oh, whenever Mike from Crypto Dira brought up the album artwork thing, I did drop you guys, and that I was like, yeah, Aviations. So
Nice. Did you see the clock?
I didn't ask him if he saw the clock. I'll shoot him a message after this just to make sure.
Make sure he saw the clock. We can point him to the clock and give
Mm.
him.
I'll
There's not a clock on the
circle it.
Luminaria artwork, is there?
Oh shit.
I'm looking
Good
at
night,
it now,
everybody.
sorry.
Next time you see us while we're wearing tinfoil hats, I couldn't find the clock.
It's a great shirt idea. That's the next round of merch.
Do you see the clock?
It's just the art, and then can you see the clock? Oh,
Well, before we actually do say goodnight to everyone here, we want to throw the sort of, the ball's in your court now. If you have any announcements you want to make, whether it's touring, new music, even though we just got a new record, so I don't anticipate that to be the case. But
that
if
would
it
be sick,
is,
though.
Sweet. Anything.
you just got an album. Here's another one.
Damn it.
Are you guys cold during this cold snap that we've been having? Why not
You-
purchase a genuine Aviations hoodie?
Holy shit.
They're in my house, ready to ship. I am the post
Well,
office.
shit.
See,
That's right.
Richard, I've been a bit. It's been a bit nipply up here. Do they come in my size?
Oh gosh, yeah. We have from very small to very large.
What about schmedium? Do you got schmedium?
Yeah, we don't have a lot of schmediums. There's not a lot of schmedium people in this world anymore.
That sounds incredible, and at an amazing price as well.
Yeah.
You want to try
Well,
one on and show it?
Yeah, do you want to like just
The-
For everyone
Show
listening,
your
you could
wares.
pretend we're holding one up for you.
Show us
there
your
we go.
wares.
we'll throw the hoodie into the video
Okay,
and post.
sorry. My pitch was small and stupid. We'll have the others
But we'll definitely
drop larger news.
we'll definitely link your all of your socials and the link to the band store and all that fun stuff too. So anybody who wants to buy the record, buy a shirt, buy a hoodie, as we know that are currently in stock in abundance.
There
abundance.
are schmediums.
And they
There's
do
schmediums?
have schmediums for everyone who was looking for that elusive schmedium hoodie.
The schmedium V-neck
Nice.
tee, dude. Gotta have it.
Oh, deep V.
Deep V, dude.
Do people like V-neck hoodies?
Deep V hoodie.
You can
DV
definitely
hoodie
you
is-
can corner the
that's a
deep
move.
V hoodie market.
It's as unstylish as it is inefficient.
Sorry,
Well, I don't
but
know if you're
prob-
trying to keep your arms warm, but also let everyone know that you have sick chest hair. I guess it would be efficient at doing that.
Yeah.
That is,
Yep.
there's definitely a market for that.
Yeah, I'm simultaneously shivering and sweating right now, so I think I'm in the market for that.
I think only thing we're really is on the grind of please buy merch because we're going on tour in May with Wheel.
Sorry, I don't have my soundboard on.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Missed opportunity.
but it'll be like pretty much the whole month of May. I think dates are supposed to be announced whatever the next Monday. I think it's next Monday or this Friday. I can't remember.
Monday, and then Yeah.
By the
Well,
time
if you're
people
hearing this,
yeah, by the
this
time people
tour,
see
this
it,
good old
it'll-
tour was announced,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
So, be
and
pretty
you
exciting
can
though.
buy
So
tickets.
we'll be
And then buy
first-
merch.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, no, buy the merch first, please, and then buy more
Right,
merch.
yeah.
Okay.
'Cause-
Yeah.
Buy the merch,
Then buy a ticket,
buy
Yeah.
a
then
ticket,
come to the show.
buy more.
and then
buy
buy
some
us
more
dinner,
merch.
and then buy more merch,
Yeah.
We don't need
And
to
then-
eat. That's
and then put us up in your house
Well, if
In
you're
that
coming to
order.
Pittsburgh,
for free.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
And
food.
we'll be sure to post the tour information as it's released, link to tickets and all that stuff. So yeah, if you're listening to this currently, we probably already posted it. We'll post it again when we drop the episode as well. But definitely, hopefully at some point you guys come a little closer to us. We'll see if we can swing any of the dates on that
I'll
tour.
come
but
play in Pittsburgh for you.
Bring it.
Sweet,
Bring
yeah.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I'm in Ohio, so I'm probably the closest.
I got this little shitty keyboard here. You can, you don't have to,
Perfect. Small
Is
shitty
it-
keyboard.
are
61
are the
keys
keys
max.
weighted? Are the keys
They're
weighted?
unweighted keys.
Is it a schmedium or is it
It's a
a?
schmedium keyboard. It's a schmedium.
Oh,
keyboard.
so it's a
Nice.
61 key.
61
yes.
Perfect.
it's the,
Yeah.
I
the
don't
V-neck
even. I think it's a
sweater of
48 key.
keyboards.
48 key. Ooh,
48
that's nice.
key.
Yeah,
That is
I
a
don't
medium
use,
for sure.
I don't use those ones that are far away. So yeah, that's perfect.
All right, fantastic. So we got the equipment, so we're good. We're
Uh-huh.
already set. Well,
Show
that's
at
awesome.
Dan's house.
Yeah,
Bring
we'll
back house
back
shows.
the house shows. That's what you wanted.
Hell yeah. Hell
Absolutely.
yeah.
Just not your house.
Sweet. Well, cool. Definitely looking forward to that. Seeing you guys out on tour. Hopefully we can make it. If not, obviously anybody who's listening to this, make it and rub it in our faces that we didn't get to go. And yeah, I mean, is there anything else you guys like to announce before we sort of sign off here?
We'll make new music eventually.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right. Yeah,
That's key. That's key. That's important. We definitely want to know that you guys are going to keep on going. And I feel like you guys have aged like fine wine with your music.
We've aged like a
think-
fine Josh. Josh memes are on the rise. If you haven't.
God, dude. Holy shit.
Another
You gotta
another
look-
announcement. Another announcement. Josh
Yeah,
memes.
sorry. Very important. Like to announce, yeah. Invest in Josh memes now.
Invest in Josh.
Oh man, we need a Richard channel on our Instagram for announcements only.
Thank you.
Coming updates.
Oh,
Come hang
shit.
out on our Discord.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
okay.
another important one. We try to stream Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern on our Twitch
cool.
channel as well. So if you want to get the latest on those, hit up our Discord. But find us on Instagram as well. Basically anywhere social media is Aviations Band or at Aviations Band is where you're gonna find 6 confused looking gentlemen who look like not super edgy, but like kind of metal. No, not really at all. James makes up for all of it because of length of
But you guys still have the modern progressive metal look. That's
How dare you? I was like,
did you just assume my genre?
No, not that. But just like, you guys have the modern progressive metal look. Like is such like derogatory.
and
Like,
on that offensive note,
yeah.
we'll be sure to link everything, social media and everything. Everybody listening, please go follow Aviations everywhere that there is to follow. Buy a t-shirt, buy a hoodie, buy a record, go see them on tour. And from me and Matt, thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one. And thank you, Aviations, for joining us.
Yeah,
See you
thanks, guys.
Hell
Thank
yeah.
you guys.